anybody don't like it, come see the king. And we're gonna start with 50.
Leaked security footage has just surfaced, reportedly showing Jim Jones and T.I. allegedly pulling up on 50 Cent backstage at a concert, following weeks of subtle shots, rising tension, and escalating drama behind the scenes.
Yeah, I just seen the Breakfast Club. Jimmy popping on.
50's interviews had already made one thing clear: he doesn't fold under pressure. But nobody expected the situation to escalate this far. Let's take a closer look at how it all started. The foundation of this conflict runs much deeper than a single backstage moment. The story involving 50 Cent, Jim Jones, and T.I. isn't just about a potential confrontation behind the curtain. It's about three artists who have spent nearly 2 decades trading subtle shots and strategic moves. Sometimes the tension played out through lyrics, other times through memes, interviews, or calculated business decisions. But physical confrontation was never part of the narrative. To truly understand why this rivalry has lasted so long, you have to go back to where it began. In the mid-2000s, New York hip-hop was witnessing a major power struggle between two dominant camps. On one side stood G-Unit, led by 50 Cent. On the other side was Dipset, fronted by Cameron, with Jim Jones positioned as one of his closest allies. The tension between these two movements was fueled by one major question: who truly controlled New York? Who was moving the most records? And which crew had the stronger backing from the streets? 50 Cent openly fired shots at Cameron over Dipset's deal with Coke Records, dismissing the move as irrelevant. At that time, Jim Jones wasn't the primary target, but the atmosphere between both camps had already turned hostile, and everyone connected to either side could feel it building. Then came 2007, a moment that shifted the entire dynamic. While still actively feuding with Cameron, 50 Cent made a calculated move by bringing Jim Jones and Juelz Santana, Cameron's own Dipset partners, on stage as surprise guests during one of his concerts. This wasn't a peace gesture, it was a strategic play. 50 later admitted the decision was deliberate. His goal was to shake Dipset from within and create doubt inside the crew. He wanted Cameron to question the loyalty around him, to wonder who was truly on his side. And for a moment, the strategy worked. The tension inside Dipset became very real. Jim Jones initially brushed the moment off publicly, but years later he described the move as calculated and deceptive. In interviews reflecting on that period, Jones acknowledged that 50 Cent had cleverly taken advantage of the internal issues already brewing within Dipset.
Interview with 50.
For the younger audience, we had like a rap battle thing at one time.
Jim Jones later explained that at the time, the group was already dealing with internal issues behind the scenes. From the outside, nobody really knew what was happening within Dipset, but 50 Cent recognized the tension early and strategically took advantage of those cracks before anyone else could see them.
50, what you did, so we was having interior problems at Dipset. Nobody knew about this.
And then came the key admission: 50 Cent had successfully influenced members of Dipset to cross the line and appear alongside him during the height of the conflict, a move that made the internal divide within the crew impossible to ignore.
Nobody knew that we was like not on the same page.
Right.
So when me and you were battling during our music thing, you got members of Dipset to come to your show.
The 2007 on-stage moment planted a seed that kept growing, sending a clear message. 50 Cent didn't just aim to win rap beefs, he wanted to strategically dismantle Dipset from within, and that was a lesson Jim Jones never forgot. Meanwhile, hundreds of miles south, another tension was quietly building. Between 2004 and 2007, 50 Cent targeted T.I. over his federal gun charges, questioning T.I.'s toughness and implying that his plea deal showed weakness. He even worked it into a lyric, "You so tough," making it clear he didn't respect how T.I. handled his legal situation. T.I. didn't respond immediately, he stayed quiet, but that perceived disrespect lingered for years. By the end of the 2000s, 50 Cent had active tension on two fronts. With Jim Jones, the battle was about loyalty, betrayal, and crew politics. With T.I., it was about street credibility and respect. Both conflicts were born from the egocentric, competitive culture of mid-2000s hip-hop, simmering quietly for over a decade before erupting again. The key takeaway here: none of it was ever physical, not then, not now. While the title suggests a backstage attack on 50 Cent by Jim Jones and T.I., that never occurred. What did happen were verbal battles, psychological games, and public attempts at humiliation, a story just as intense, and it only got messier from here. After the 2007 on-stage stunt, the feud between 50 Cent and Jim Jones didn't disappear, it went underground. Both pursued other projects, headlines, and controversies. but the resentment remained, quietly waiting to resurface. When it did, it erupted in unexpected ways through federal court proceedings and even gym challenges. Around 2017 to 2018, Jim Jones decided to stir the pot, posting a workout video on social media challenging 50 Cent to a gym competition. On the surface, it seemed trivial, two rappers flexing. But in hip-hop culture, every move is a power play. The gym challenge was about dominance. Jones was asserting, "I'm still strong. I'm still here, and I'm not afraid of you." 50 Cent dismissed it with mocking posts, and Jones escalated by suggesting a boxing match, though that never came to fruition. The exchange eventually fizzled online, and for a brief moment, both claimed their relationship was good in interviews. Though anyone paying attention knew it was merely a surface-level truce, the underlying tension never disappeared. Then 2019 introduced the single most explosive element to this saga, Tekashi 6ix9ine's Rico trial. Both 50 Cent and Jim Jones had connections to the rainbow-haired rapper. During the trial, 6ix9ine testified that Jim Jones, a retired rapper, had affiliations with the 9 Trey Gangster Bloods, a revelation that immediately threatened his street credibility. Things worsened when a wiretapped phone call surfaced, seemingly showing Jones discussing instructions that prosecutors interpreted as authorizing physical harm. 50 Cent, known for seizing trolling opportunities, pounced, posting transcripts across social media, tagging Jones, and implying cooperation with authorities. In hip-hop, accusations of snitching are devastating. 50 wielded this with surgical precision, flooding social media with screenshots, commentary, and mocking posts. Jones denied cooperating and countered by calling out 50's ironic association with rats, referencing 50's public friendship with 6ix9ine, who testified against his own gang members. Clever as it was, the narrative stuck, and 50 ensured every chance to remind the public. Unlike typical rap beefs, the 50 Cent vs. Jim Jones feud had a gangster credibility angle, involving real federal investigations and legal consequences. Despite all the tension, snitching claims, gang affiliations, and trolling, there were no physical altercations. The conflict remained a digital and verbal battlefield. Into the early 2020s, the rivalry simmered online. Jones claimed Dipset pioneered the mixtape game over G-Unit. 50 called him a liar. Viral videos of Jones and unrelated fights became fodder for 50's mocking commentary, turning every stumble into public ammunition. Jim Jones kept responding, never backing down, but the dynamic was clear. 50 set the terms, instigated, and trolled relentlessly, while Jones constantly reacted, always one step behind. Meanwhile, the T.I. front had been quiet, until the silence ended in dramatic fashion. T.I. had his own challenge for 50 Cent, one that 50 wanted nothing to do with. If the 50 Cent-Jim Jones feud was defined by snitching accusations and property disputes, the 50 Cent T.I. feud revolved around one word, versus. For context, Versus was a pandemic-era battle series where artists showcased their biggest hits to determine who had the stronger catalog. Between 2020 to 2021, T.I. repeatedly challenged 50 Cent to a Versus battle, in interviews, on social media, making it clear he believed he could go bar for bar with one of rap's greatest. 50 initially declined respectfully, claiming T.I. wasn't on his level, but the refusal itself fueled the fire. T.I. argued they had privately agreed to the battle, only for 50 to back out publicly. Whether true or not, perception hurt T.I., undermining his claim as King of the South. His frustration was visible, and he made no effort to hide exactly what he wanted.
I celebrate you.
Yes, sir.
But if you get a chance, you hear me? You hear me, Kevin Hart?
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
If you get a chance.
Yes, sir.
Even while recognizing 50 Cent's legendary status, T.I. made it clear that admiration and competition can coexist. He showed respect for 50's legacy, but also signaled that he was ready for the challenge. He wanted the smoke.
Please tell 50 bring his on out here and get this smoke.
Oh, Jesus.
Please tell 50 Cent get his hit records and come on.
That statement was crystal clear, no metaphors, no hidden meanings. It was a direct call. Bring your records, step up, and let the music speak for itself.
See all full-fledged with the South.
I want him to see what the South got to say.
This is where T.I. took the narrative beyond a personal rivalry and transformed it into a larger regional battle. It wasn't just T.I. versus 50 Cent anymore. It became South versus New York. By doing so, he positioned himself as the spokesperson for an entire region's pride and frustration.
Now listen, hey, I'm the king below the Mason-Dixon line, king of the South. I speak for all of the Southern people.
T.I. wasn't just framing himself as a rapper with a personal grievance, he was presenting himself as the voice for every Southern artist who'd ever felt overlooked or dismissed by New York. claiming the title King of the South and speaking on behalf of the region raised the stakes far beyond a simple versus challenge. He then directly called out what he saw as New York's lack of respect for Southern hip-hop.
New York been saying under their breath about us and having little slick comments about us, thinking it's all slow down here, but they want to come down here and go to our malls.
The hypocrisy T.I. highlighted was undeniable. New York artists were benefiting from Southern hospitality, clubs, and culture, all while treating the region as inferior. That simmering resentment had been growing in Southern hip-hop for years, and T.I. was channeling the full weight of it into this single defining moment.
Go to our clubs, but then they want to kick it like we substandard when they get back up top.
Then came T.I.'s definitive statement. He wasn't asking anymore. He was making it clear and declaring.
So anybody don't like it, come see the king. And we're going to start with 50. And if he don't want to do it, then we're going to go pick somebody else.
That line spoke volumes. 50 Cent was the primary target, and if he didn't step up, T.I. was ready to move on. The challenge existed, whether 50 acknowledged it or not, but 50 never responded in the way T.I. expected. He didn't answer the phone, he didn't book a venue, he didn't come prepared with 20 records. That silence, that refusal, laid the groundwork for everything that unfolded in early 2026. 2026 became the year everything erupted. If the previous decade was a slow burn, early 2026 was pure gasoline. Both feuds, 50 Cent versus Jim Jones and 50 Cent versus T.I., ignited simultaneously, creating one of the most chaotic periods in modern hip-hop history. And while neither conflict turned physical, the intensity and sheer volume of the attacks made it feel like a full-scale war. Starting with Jim Jones, in December 2025, Jones went on his podcast and called 50 Cent's Netflix documentary about Diddy a mockumentary. That was the spark, any fragile truce between 50 Cent and Jones. Instantly shattered, 50 responded not with words, but with actions, calculated, cold, business-minded maneuvers only he could execute. He leaked audio from Jones's landlord, alleging unpaid rent on his Bronx podcast studio, and claimed he had partial ownership or involvement in the property. Then came the footage, surveillance video showing Jim Jones kicking at the studio door, apparently trying to gain access after the locks had been changed. To be clear, the footage shows Jones alone, frustrated, attempting to enter a building he believed he had rights to. It was not an attack on 50 Cent, not a backstage assault, not jumping anyone, but 50 framed it as an eviction spectacle, and the internet immediately ran with it. He posted the video and related documents on Instagram, even including photos with the landlord for extra pettiness, turning a property dispute into viral content. Jones responded by paying the rent and firing back with memes, denying any eviction had occurred. He went on The Breakfast Club and laid out his side, but 50 watched, analyzed, and struck right back.
Yeah, I just seen The Breakfast Club. Jimmy popping all that bullshit. I be seeing Jimmy to my
50 Cent wasn't fazed at all. He treated the entire situation like pure entertainment, because, to him, that's exactly what it was.
We Gucci boo boo here in the Gucci store. We Gucci boo boo.
That line, we Gucci boo, quickly turned into a meme. 50 Cent made it clear that nothing Jim Jones said on The Breakfast Club really mattered. While 50 kept trolling Jones online and even pulled Cameron to his side again, T.I. launched his own attack in early 2026 with multiple diss tracks aimed directly at 50. Instead of responding with music, 50 replied with memes, jokes, and pure trolling, refusing to even step into the studio. And that might have been the biggest disrespect of all. At the end of the day, this whole situation shows how rap beefs grow from small moments into major rivalries fueled by pride, legacy, and competition. The tension between these three has been building for nearly 2 decades, and if history tells us anything, this story is far from over. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to subscribe for more exclusive hip-hop updates.